Hello everyone. We are here for Banish image bloat. So I'm going to be proposing a concept that you know, but adapted to something that you may not care about. Let's see how it goes. So, bonjour. I'm Myriam Jessier, and I'm not your typical developer or engineer. I'm neither. I do have experience spending way too much time in dev centers, but I'm a technical SEO. And if you don't know what that is, you may be lucky. Search engine optimization. I Google things. And I speak 3 languages and 2 garbled ones, so that's 3.5 languages, I think. Why am I here? Because I worked with an image compression plugin, and I realized how much people don't care about images. And I'm a human being on the web, and I'm fed up with image issues, though, because I do look at a lot of dog pictures. And I want to talk to people who can actually make a change. That's why I'm here. I'm glad you're here, too. So I was so annoyed at image performance issues that I decided to write 3 entire articles on my couch a few months ago. And somehow, company marketer turned it into an ebook, and I was not prepared for that, because this is how the company advertised it. The mysteries of image SEO revealed. The problem here is that there is no mystery, nobody really cares, and that's the problem. So let's talk about the big, hairy problem. If you haven't noticed, it's going to be octopuses all the way. There will be a tentacle in every slide. So let's start with the basics. I'm a consultant, and one of my favorite things to say, and this is a real poster available for sale on despair.com, if you're not part of the solution, there's good money to be made in prolonging the problem. I could do that. I mean, you could hire me to do an image performance audit, and then you will do nothing with it and pay me. Or we could actually talk about things that matter, such as mantis shrimp. I'm pretty sure you've never heard of mantis shrimp, but that's fine. They have a very complex visual system. Our eyes, compared to these animals, are outdated tech. I'm talking like floppy disk or fax level, okay? This is the shrimp. 16 color receptive cones. What does it mean? It means that they can see colors that we can't even begin to comprehend. And the web is filled with images that take forever to load, details and colors our eyes can't even pick up. So I have one ask of you. Please, stop making websites for the hypothetical shrimp in your audience. Let's make them for humans, okay? So over the last 10 years, mobile page weight has increased by 594%. Yeah, we really, really do love cat and dog pictures. But that's not all. Page weight considers a lot of assets, among them images. So I have another talk where I complain about JavaScript. Don't worry, I handle all of this, but today it's images. So designers want premium pixels. Marketers want shiny, shiny. And devs want a site that loads fast. So this means that developers are often caught in the middle trying to balance these competing demands. Developers and SEOs like me. So I usually collaborate with people like you in the room. And before you just slap an image optimization plugin and call it a day and go, done, please hear me out, okay? Just a few minutes. We need to think about how we can resolve this issue. Slapping a plugin on it is not the solution. I propose that an image performance budget be the solution. And here's why. You already know what a performance budget is. And if you don't, you can cheat. There's a screenshot here, okay? So this is dated from 2018. Now, let's apply it to images only. An image performance budget will set limits and provide a useful framework for discussing performance with stakeholders. What does it mean? It means that other people who don't really care about images but have money and resources to allocate to it can be told politely, hey, something's wrong, give me money and give me time to fix it. Because at the end of the day, the problem is not the technology, the problem is humans. So here's how to communicate with humans to say, we have a problem here. So there are a few things that you should consider. The total size of images, the format, image compression, don't worry, I have a few more. Responsive images, lazy loading, number of images. This makes sense to you, to most of you. What about the director of marketing? What about the C-suite? Not so sure. So a budget exists to reflect your reachable goals. That's why you have to consider these things. And if we're talking like adults, a budget means having realistic expectations. So you don't want the millionaire budget if you're a hundredaire, okay? It's not gonna happen. Be realistic. That's how you can communicate realistic expectations about the work that you do. And it's a trade-off between user experience against performance indicators that you are more familiar with. So, first off, if you were wondering, okay, yeah, how do I get started? I got you. You can automate certain things. You have tools, so Calibre, Speed Curve, but many others, okay? It's just to say there are solutions. And when I say that automation can be used, is that you can use it to flag when the budget you agreed on is crossed. So for example, you could say images should not be more than 100 kilobytes. And then the tool will flag it for you and say, something's wrong. Or, like I said, you could pay me to do it periodically. There's money to be made. So how do you define that budget? You need to pick your metrics. That's not for me to do. This is not a one-size-fits-all. So if you have a photography website where users' expectations are crystal clear, retina-friendly images, you don't have the same expectations as a news website that has a lot of not so great photos of celebrities, for example. And if you are, let's say, a famous e-commerce brand that young people love, mobile is probably going to be very important. So the expectations are not the same. You will have quantity-based metrics, milestone timings, and rule-based metrics. That's a mix and match. That's for you to figure out. And using a mix of these types of metrics can provide a comprehensive approach. That means you're not slapping an image optimization plugin on it. Use milestones to set timing goals, so your goals. Quantity-based metrics to control image volume. Because, as you know, marketers still love carousels full of images that nobody clicks on. Maybe it's time to tell them, you don't need them. You're busting the budget. And rule-based metrics to enforce optimization rules. We all agree on this, so we keep to it. And you will have quantity-based metrics for images. Total image weight, image requests, image dimensions. Makes sense to all of you. It does not make sense to most of my colleagues that actually have money to spend on this. So let's start by defining things, not necessarily for you, but for everyone that works with you, so everyone agrees on what it means. Instead of saying, oh, I thought it was your job. Oh, no, I thought it was the designer's job. Oh, wait, no, marketers. Oh, no, wait, the stock image website will provide this. Or Dolly will do it for us. It's not happening. So total image weight is the combined file size of all images loaded on a page. So once again, isn't that a great definition to simply say, hey, maybe we don't need all of these images because the volume is too big. It's a very polite way to say no thank you. Image requests. The total number of HTTP requests made to fetch images on a page. This also matters. You get to communicate. Once you define your metrics and everybody agrees with it, we're all responsible adults, I hope. And image dimensions, the resolution of the images used on the website. So if you've ever worked with, let's say, e-commerce websites, you will sadly often see retina-friendly images full of details for the mantis shrimp that may be using the mobile phone that they have, or not. Meaning, there are some choices that are made that nobody really understands, but you're like, hey, it's not impacting me, it's costing someone else money, so this is fine. You will also have milestones. So milestones are very important because then you get to say, hey, this is how we think about this type of performance. How long does it take for the first image to appear on the page? Because yes, people will not necessarily wait for everything to load before they move on to something else. So that beautiful carousel you were forced to implement? Image load time, the time it takes for all images to fully load on a page. So once again, like I said, I'm a technical marketer. I do SEO, I do analytics. I have data on the amount of people that leave a page before most of the stuff is loaded because they're like, I'm not waiting for this. I know where I want to go. I don't even care about what you want to show me. Well, not very useful. So now we move on to rule-based metrics for images. And don't worry, this will be available online. The end game is that I'm providing Legos for you to think about and go, hey, for our website, here's how we should go about it. This is not a best practice. This comes from a strategic point of view. Here are the metrics that we care about. The rest, someone else can be worried about, but we know that this is important to us. So you have image format efficiency. I know there are quite a few format wars, so I will not be getting into them. Lazy loading and CLS, cumulative layout shift. So, concretely, ensuring images are in the most efficient format and using modern image compression techniques is something that I would recommend. And I know that Google pushes WebP quite a lot. Is it a priority? Not necessarily. It's your job to figure out if yes or no and to spend time. If you ask a technical marketer, I will say yes because every single performance testing tool that I have will blindly tell me to do so, and I will blindly parrot it to you and demand it, not really understanding why. So once again, the concept of building the budget and say, hey, we have rules in this house. We're not doing it this way. This is what works for us is important. I will be taking a slight second to say that the right format for you and the right format for me are not the same. It's found at the crossroads of what you want in terms of a visual result and functional requirements. So once again, you have to figure out what people expect, but also what you have to deal with. And this is the part where I will stand like a lovely assistant. You can take a picture of this if you want to do that. Okay, good. The reason why I do this is I am not for or against a specific format. You do you, okay? Now, if we continue with the rules, lazy loading. Easy. Everybody agrees on it, except that it's not that easy. Because you have to agree that images below the fold are going to be lazy loaded. If you do not do that, you will run into problems with the next rule you should consider. Cumulative layout shift. Images should have height and width attributes to prevent the thing we all have. I see you with a mobile phone. When you scroll and you want to click on something and the image is loading and it moves down and you click on an ad and you go somewhere. Yeah, I feel you. So don't do this to people. You have the power to say, we're adults, we don't do this here. And images cause a lot of layout shifts. So once again, on the technical end, nobody really cares about images. But you, when you load a website, oh yeah, you care. If that moves too much, you hate it. I do too. So that's what we should be fixing. We're not improving things when it comes to images. We keep making the web heavier and using more and more images. So the problem keeps growing, and we keep on not caring. I'm hoping to give you the tools to make people care about this in a way where they give you time, money, and teammates to fix it regularly, not a one-shot. So here's a rule example you could have. The images on our landing page must not cause layout shift. Great, so Google has this metric and they have a threshold. If you use this rule, I guarantee you that designers will look into it and that marketers will also look into it and say, that sounds good for us. Let's do this. Let's agree on this. Another one that you have to consider is, well, where is CLS coming from? You know this, but you have to explain it to people who read all about it and stress out. We're all told that we have to care about this because it's a Google Core Web Vital metric. But ultimately, what it represents is the visual stability of the page. And it measures this. It gives you a quantity, like you have a score, so you know how much it impacts you and users. Because it's not just annoying. Jank in image-heavy pages will disturb, like this moving around will disturb rendering because of the layout shifts. So yes, we all care about it, but different teams care about this for different reasons. So let's all agree. We don't do this, the end. That's our rule. And we agree, nice, very nice, very nice. So here's a concrete thing you could come and say, hey, how about we do this instead? So I like this on websites, progressive JPEGs, low resolution preview of an image while it loads. Okay, so this is a way to handle the whole shifting thing. Here's another example. The images on the news page must be loaded to ensure the initial load and interactivity time is under 2 seconds on a 3G connection. Is the 3G connection your baseline? I don't know. Depends on which market you're going for. But you can take this and tweak it and make it your own. And you see how it says news page? You can have rules about the important money pages on the website, for example. You need to build up that budget to tailor it for you. And I keep saying, okay, we need to do this, and images are a problem. Yes, but images help us communicate very important things with people. 50% of online shoppers say images help them decide what to buy. I remember the first time I went shopping online, there was exactly one picture for the product. It was the one image used everywhere on every store because it was like the company building it, giving you the pixelated image. Do you see the back? No. Is it the front? Maybe. Do you have to decide if that clothing is good for you based on one image? Yeah, not a good experience. So we need images, but we need them to work with us, with what we expect. So let me come at you with another example. The e-commerce product page must not include more than 150 kilobytes of image content on mobile. This is arbitrary, okay? This is supposed to be a best practice. It's not your best practice. You decide what is your threshold. And how do you do that? You establish a baseline. Because if you're building a budget and you don't actually know what you have in the bank, not gonna work. So images are critical for visual experience, but delivering them efficiently is the challenge, a huge challenge. So if you want to have the most effective budget here, you need to figure out what works on your site, what doesn't, what mistakes you keep making, but also, are we better or worse than the competition? Like, how's that going? I'm not saying that you have to be the least worse, but it's nice to know what's going on so you figure out, oh, they're weak in this, we can do this quickly, we can fix it. So audit to know what works and how you compare to competitors. You need to test your findings to make sure that this is really what is going on. It's not just a one-shot thing. You need to understand, hey, do I have this problem across all my page templates? And once you do that, you need to implement your budget. So give me some time. We're almost done. I'm not going to give you a concrete example of a budget with like, okay, so we have an e-commerce website and you're going to have these metrics. Because I know that you will take this and basically copy-paste and not think about it. I need you to think about it and go, hey, here's the strategy. Here's how we're going to go about it. We're very organized, and this is how much money we would need or how much time we would need if we wanted to achieve a budget that satisfies our needs at this level. And if you want the Rolls-Royce, here's the budget for like getting everything done. So that way you can set expectations going, if you give me this much time and money, I can do this. If you give me the ideal, here's what I can do, best case scenario. So you need to define your goals for this process. Why do we have a budget? Because money is not infinite. Because we have to make choices. Do I go out to the restaurant 10 times a month? Or maybe do I go 2 times, but I can actually afford rent and other things? Decisions. So what do you want to achieve? Do you want better UX? Do you want to keep people like me happy? Do you want to keep someone's boss happy? What's the objective? Once you know this, that's when you get started. You establish your baseline, you run the audit and go, okay, but for our objectives, I know that this is wrong, this could be improved. This is actually good, I'm surprised. Yes, we do have some good surprises sometimes. And then you get to setting the budget. So you figure out your key metrics and thresholds. So you pick what you want to measure, but also you define what is good, what is bad, what is okay. And then you communicate this with other teams going, do you agree? Sign with your own blood, and I will believe you. If that doesn't happen, then try to sign and re-sign and re-sign. Because then everyone agrees. So if somebody does not respect this, that's not your fault. You get to say, as per my last email, you will see that we all agreed on this. And I hope that in the future, this person will keep to it. Stop sending us intensely large images. We asked you for specific things and you agreed. So you know your baseline, you know your metrics, everybody agreed to them. Go time, do your thing, optimize all the things, okay? I have another talk about this, there's books about this, there's articles about this. Go for it, have fun. And then it's not over. It's never over because new products. Marketing has new landing page ideas. Oh, but no, we are adding this feature to the site and you can actually do this and this image is gonna... It never ends. That's how we end up with really, really heavy images, right? On really, really heavy pages. So you will need to iterate and adjust your budget. So you monitor how are we doing with tools. And then you're like, hey, let's fix it. Let's maintain it. It's not a one... Like, image optimization is kind of like going to the dentist. Nobody likes it, but I'm sure all of you have been to the dentist, not just once. Because you know what happens? If you don't go for a few years, it's going to cost so much more money and pain. Same deal, okay? So if you iterate, that means you get to educate your team ongoing, going, hey, designers, could you not just send me the giant thing. Hey, marketers, could you actually make sure that you respect what we asked in terms of the type of image as well? Remember, we agreed on a format. Why is it not here? I can't accept this as per the budget. And an image performance budget has 2 levels. If you thought this was fine, because it's pretty obvious stuff, right? But you have warning and error to manage things proactively or reactively. Still the dentist analogy. Do you brush your teeth every day? Or do you wait for the big bill? The main reason I brush my teeth every day and never forget is that I hate the dentist. It's not that I love brushing my teeth. So you need to figure out, you have the metrics. You know what's right, you know what's wrong, everybody agreed on it. But then you have to figure out what's a warning and what's a I have failed. These are 2 different things. So we have to agree. What happens when there's a warning? Do we just ignore it, hoping it goes away, kind of like most of us do with cars? Or do we actually handle it when there's a warning? Do we wait for the error, the failure? What type of company are we? That's something that you can do and figure out, is our culture proactive or reactive? And if everyone here is like, oh, we're proactive, lies. I know. You hire me. I know what you do. I've seen it. I'm haunted. So, like any budget, this means that it involves trade-offs and prioritization. So, if your site is going to evolve, because it is, you can't keep the same old budget. Maybe your website has become huge. It took off. Maybe you decided to remove some things and actually the budget needs to be reviewed lower. This can happen. And if something goes over a defined threshold, you can optimize it. You can remove it. I love this option. I'm very minimalist. Do we actually need, I don't know if you remember in the 2010s, there was this thing where WordPress would create articles where you would have the big hero image in the blog, and then you would have like the same exact image underneath, but for Pinterest. We don't really need that anymore, I hope, please. So you can ask yourself, do I optimize? Do I remove? Or do we agree? This doesn't even make it onto the website. We don't need this. And remember, how can you do that? How can you say, let's not add it? Oh, image volume. That was one of our metrics. This is too many images. Goodbye. Thank you very much for coming. So how do you set up the stage for an actionable budget? Here's an example. So we have a Shopify website. And we have tools. These are my tools because I'm a technical marketer. I'm not you. Please have your own tools. This is cool. Like, look at what you already pay for. Because sometimes your tools will impact the metrics that you choose because that's what they measure. So be smart about it. And identify current performances, analyze what's going on, how images are used, set a performance goal. Great, you should be on your way. So what does it mean? Concrete example. Here for this Shopify website, I would run a Lighthouse performance audit to figure out how things are going. I would check image sizes, formats, page templates, etc. And then it all comes down to the same things that the tools always tell you: optimize, size, etc. That's what the report will tell me. What do I need to do? Once I have my audit and I know what I need to do, I can prioritize based on my performance goal. So you understand why I'm not giving you a budget. It's for you to create. And it's essential to monitor a mix of the metrics I offered, like milestones, quantity, etc. Because if you don't have quantity and user-focused, how are you balancing things? If you're just going all for performance, you can have a very, very good CLS score and have users still hate your site. Let's not do that. Monitor quantity-based metrics, so anything numerical like total image weight or the number of image requests, and those that directly influence the user experience like image load time, time to first image. Those are user-centric metrics. And then you have your strategy. You're smart. You know exactly where you're going. You can communicate this to other people who don't know as much as you do about this topic. And they will understand, go, that's why I have to give you money and time. Okay, I get it. Now I understand. Now I can prioritize. Implement the thing. So here, concretely, I know I told you not to slap a plugin on it, but you can sometimes slap a plugin on it if you know the right plugin for it, if you know what the problem is and what you want out of it. Monitor the performance by testing with your tools to check your progress. There's another thing you can use if you want to talk to people like me, because that's what we check, the Chrome UX report, because the other metrics, they're not real world, they're lab data. That's a bit of a problem because lab and real life, not the same thing. Lab is usually perfect and easy to figure out. So in this example, not in everywhere, use the Core Web Vital report in the Google Search Console tool, and you can see how you're doing and go, hey marketers, now you can stop stressing. It's fixed for you, okay? We're good. Chill. Do not come and log 30 tickets. And these are the concrete tools that I have shown you if I were doing it because I come from a different team than you. But if you come to me with your own tools and say, we already pay for this, I will be interested. This is just a piece of advice, but you make it your own. There are also tools that can help you estimate the point at which a person may notice that the image sucks. Yes, you can check that. And over time, things will change. Devices, expectations, 5G, etc. So adjust your budget. And you want to compress, but still have details. Don't forget that. Revisit your budget, keep an eye on things, communicate, and continue. So, I'm done. That was intense.